And hello everyone, welcome back to your Python tutorial. Today we'll be looking at random, because we want to sometimes generate random numbers, whether it be between 0 and 1 or between different types of values like words or whatnot. We just want to be able to get random values. Now Python has a built-in module for random. So we go here and we just say import random. Then we will have the ability to generate random values. However, take note that no value that a computer will ever give you is truly random, because computers cannot generate random numbers. It's based off of math that computers do. And it would have been great if you did know some C++, because C++ has a really great example of how this actually works. Because when you create a random value, you have to seed it and all of that, and it's just shown so perfectly how all of that comes together and creates a random value. But if you don't know any C++, it's perfectly fine. You don't even need to know everything that goes on in the back. Just know that no value that a computer will ever give is truly random. Perfect. So let's go here and we can just say print, and then we can just say random, and then dot random. Oops. And this will just give us a random value between 0 and 1. As you can see here, it's just a float and is between 0 and 1. Run it here, and as you can see, we get 0.797, 0.1355, 0.451. Of course, we can have multiple of these if we wanted to, like always. Do it like this, and we'll get our random values. Do it again. And yet again, we get random values. We can get more random values or random floats by going instead of random, we can say uniform. And here we can pass in where we want it to go from. So 1 to 10 should be fine. So a random float between 1 and 10. We get 6.76, 5.98, 3.74, 4.34. And that is how to get a float random value between those numbers. If you want to get an integer or a number, then it can just be randint, and that will return an integer, which is just a value 1, 2, 3. It's a whole number. Go like this, and we get 5. Do it again, we get 3. Again, we get 1. Again, we get 6. Sometimes you want to pick a random value from, let's say, a list. Then a great way to do that is to go something like A. I'm just going to use A as an example. And of course, you could just do your list like this and just make more things of the list. But that's going to be a lot of effort since we want a lot of values. So for right now, I'm just going to say list, and then pass in all of this as a list. So A. Okay, well, I'm just going to take it till there. We don't have to put in the whole alphabet. If we print out what's inside of A, then you'll see each and every one of these letters is in their own little thing inside of a list. Perfect, and that's what we want. What if we wanted to choose a random letter from here? Of course, it doesn't have to be letters. You can think of this in a time of need where you need to choose between random values like numbers or something like that for the user. But this is just an example of numbers. To do that, we can go random.choice, and here we can pass in our list, and I will choose a random value from the list. We get I, we get K, we get N, we get P, we get C, and we get P again. By changing choice to sample, we can then pass in our list and say how many we want to get back. In this case, we can say 3. Now if we do it, we'll get 3 random values instead of 1. So now you can get more than 1 random value. But these values here, they don't contain duplicates. So you'll notice if I make this maybe something like 7, for example, and run it again, there won't be any duplicates within any of these lists. As you can see here, there's no duplicates. But sometimes you do want duplicates, and to get the duplicates, you can change samples to choices. And here you can just specify by saying k is equal to, and here you can specify how many. Let's go 3. Now if we do this, there we go, ICG, CLK. Okay, we're already getting a lot of duplicates here. So let's make this 7 again, just so we can get a few more duplicates. Here we go. Now, not really any duplicates. Okay, here we go. There's 2 J's here. They're duplicates. So yeah, this is how you can get duplicates if you need to get duplicates from a choice. But sometimes you don't just want to get a value. Sometimes you just want to change something. So let's say we want to shuffle everything out of this list. We don't want to get something specifically. We just want to shuffle it up. We want to randomize the order it is in. We can say random and then dot shuffle and pass in the list. Now, if we were to print out this list, then as you can see, it has been ordered in a randomly fashion. Perfect. You sometimes need to seed to get a random value. For example, if we go here, then we can say random.seed, and we can make that 1. And now here we can say print random.randint, and here we can say like 1 to 10. And you can do this a couple of times, so we can paste it like that. Look what we get. Okay, we get 3, 10, 2, 5, 2. And here again, once we run it again, we get 3, 10, 2, 5, 2. Now, usually Python will seed this for you in the background. That's why we didn't have to use it up until this point. If we were to remove that, we'll get random values again. But it's always just good to know about it for whenever you do need to use it, because there are some situations. And seed is basically just a way to get a random value. In most cases, you'll pass in the current time in milliseconds or seconds inside of this random right here, and that will give you random values. But for this scenario, we're just going to pass in numbers. So let's say we have another one of these, and the last 2 will contain it. And we'll make this seed of 2. Perfect. Now you won't really see any differences here, but the difference comes when, if we look at this, it's 3, 10, 2. And let's just remove this again. Okay, so it's 3, 10, 2, 5, 2. If we make this, let's say 55, then we do it again, then we get a random value. That's because we fed it a seed, and it uses mathematical equations to get that answer from the seed, but it will be the same every time. That is usually why you pass a time in here. But if you change it to, let's say, 56, it will be something different again. But you shouldn't do this every time. You shouldn't have to change this. So usually with Python, you can just leave it out unless you're working with some things that should stay secure. Speaking of secure, sometimes you're working with things that need real high security, and you need more truly random values, because as I said before, computers cannot give random values. In fact, you could probably figure out what the next random value is that a computer is going to give. Because remember, it's just using math. We can use math as well. So to create something that is more secret, more truly random, Python gives us an inbuilt module called secrets. So import secrets. And this secrets module will allow us to create more truly random values. But take note, they're not truly random. They're still given by a computer, so they're not random, but they are more random-like, making them more difficult to crack if someone wants to figure out what this value could be. So the difference between random and secret, except for the fact that random gives you more random values, is the fact that random is faster than secrets. So if you want something that's fast, like you're doing game development with Python or something like that, random is perfectly fine because you don't need security or anything like that, and it can give you random values on the spot very quickly. While secret is a little bit slower, it's perfect for when you need to do some security. And it's also because secret has a more complex operation in the background to give it more random values. Alright, so let's actually get to using it. So we can just say print, and here we can say secrets, and then dot rand below, And this will give us a random value below and then the value we insert. So here we can say we get 8, we get 5, we get 4, and we get 0. So we won't really see much of a difference, but there is actually a difference. You can also get things like rand bits. And by doing this, you can pass in a number that will be generated from bits. So in this case, if we pass in something like 4, and we run it, then we'll get something like 15. So it will be something between probably about 0 and 15. So every time we run it, we'll get a different value between 0 and 15. Bits is beyond the scope of this video, so I won't be explaining it, and you don't really need to know about it unless you ever really do get into using bits, which usually you won't, but if you do, then now you know you can get random bit values. So here I have another list. So just, yet again, the alphabet up until O. And secret also gives you the ability to get a random choice from all of this. And you just pass in the list again, which in this case is called B. Save it, run it, and as you can see, we get N, we get K, we get H, and we get A. So secrets of choice is relatively the same as random the choice, but it's not reproducible, meaning you can't just get the value again, because secrets make it so it's much more a secret. It makes it more random. So you can't just get another computer or another person to try and figure out what could the next number theoretically be. So that is all I wanted to teach you about. I just wanted to teach you about random and about secrets. So whenever you need a random value and it needs to be fast, it doesn't really need to be perfectly random, you can use random. If you need a value, but it has to be very random enough that another computer will not be able to guess what the value is, then you can use secrets. And that's all. I just wanted to tell you about random and secret. Random is perfect if you just need a random number, quick and easy. It doesn't need to be anything special, it just needs to be relatively random. Secrets is if you are doing some security and you need it to be as random as possible. A little bit slower, but you get a more random value. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed and can now use random values in Python. And I'll see you all again in the next video.